IAB, which is not a venue that I'm used to speaking at. So I'm actually honored at the opportunity to speak with advertisers. And I guess my key message would be, besides just showing them boxee, because I think many have heard but have never seen it, is just talking about the opportunity. The fact that the internet comes to the TV, I think mostly merges the best of both worlds. And there's lots of opportunity for them to take advantage of. One of the worst things that may have happened to advertising on the TV is DVR, and I think when the internet gets to the TV, the DVR is kind of obsolete because you don't have to record anything, everything is in the cloud available, and I think that's a huge relief for the industry. But then you get all the benefits of targeting and measurement and accountability that you have on the internet, and that should be great news for the industry. It's like a common wisdom that you waste 50% of your advertising budget on TV, but you don't know which 50% it is that you're wasting. And I think the fact that the internet is coming with all the benefits in terms of the knowledge of the consumer and what you really watched and when and so on, that should be a great boon for the industry. I think, fast forwarding a couple of years, which is by no means a long time, we should also keep in perspective that TV as we know it today is not going anywhere. There's a whole generation of consumers that are coming out and going to rent their first apartments, and for them, TV is going to be about accessing the internet, and they'll be able to access everything that is out there online. They'll be able to have a merged experience between what they're doing on their mobile, their web, and the TV. And for an advertiser, what it would mean, it's not that the 90 million households that today connect to cable are suddenly going to be internet enabled. It's more that there's going to be this growing number of consumers that have a different experience on their TV. For the consumer, what it's going to mean from an advertising perspective probably is having more control. So stuff like we've seen in Hulu, where the user can pick which ad he wants to watch right now. I think that's going to become common practice, and probably advertisers will find a way to enable the user to take more ownership over what ads they're watching, assuming that sense of ownership translates to attention. And I think for advertisers on the back end, that would mean that they get a much higher level of engagement and recall rates with regard to their ads. I think still when you're watching a show or a movie, probably if there is an ad playing, you won't stop the movie and start doing something else. You probably still want to focus your attention on the content. But the opportunity there afterwards is for the user to get back to the ad if he liked the ad and explore it more and engage with it more, like he does with a website today. And that's a new paradigm for advertisers. But I think from an end user perspective, if you're watching a show, you're still watching the show. You're being interrupted with ads, you're still going to go on and finish your show, I think. Yeah, I think fragmentation on the TV is going to get worse. Obviously, it has gotten worse for advertisers as cable arrived and digital cable, and it grew from 10 channels to 50 to 100 to 300. And now with the internet coming to the TV, it's going to be much worse because the attention of the user is going to be spread over thousands, tens of thousands, an infinite amount of content. So being able to get your message at the same time to a huge audience is going to become more and more difficult. And that's something that online probably cannot help solve. Actually, is going to make the problem worse. But I'm sure there's still going to be aggregators that will be able to command a big audience and sell access to tens of millions of users. It may be not in real time, beyond real-time events. I think that's always going to stay. But otherwise, I think the measurement is going to have to change, and there's going to be something that will need to provide that value of that shared experience in an online world, something that provides similar value. Maybe the social interaction around content is going to provide that, because part of the value that you have tens of millions of people watching the same ad at the same time is the fact that then there is the water cooler effect, and the day after people are talking about it and so on. So maybe if you create content and advertising that gets people engaged and talking and sharing that ad and that content, maybe that can compensate for some of that value lost. But I think that there's no solution there, no magic, no silver bullet. I think that generation that is now watching most of their video online is also watching it in a different way, not just because of where they sit and where they watch it and when they watch it, but also because they share it and they comment on it and they discuss it on Twitter and Facebook and other places. And I think as that is coming also back to the living room, you'll continue to see that type of social engagement happening. And I think content creators are starting to take notice of that and are starting to write their content in a way that is, I guess, Twitter moment friendly, or create those moments in their show or in their movies that they know people are going to share and discuss. And I think that provides for a great opportunity for content producers to take advantage of the fact that people can now mesh up their content and react to it and give it a life outside the original context. There's obviously copyright issues and there's stuff that the industry needs to get around, but I think the most important is that the content creators will understand that that act of sharing is something that really benefits them more than anything else, and they need to give users the tools to do that. We recently announced that we're going to come out with a payments platform, and that's going to be available later in the second quarter. And we're excited about it because we think that would have an immediate impact on the amount of content that's going to be available for boxee users. Yes, it's going to be paid content and it's going to be behind the paywall, but we don't think that's a negative. We think that people, when they value content, they're willing to pay for it. And if we can offer them more and more opportunities to get access to more content, we believe that would be great for the user and great for the content owners.
So can you actually just elaborate on how it's going to work? So I'm a small publisher,
yeah.
So I could actually, this video, I could say, hey, this is worth $1, and there's like an interface for me to set my price. And
right. Yes. So the way the payments platform is going to work is that as a consumer, you'll be able to put in your billing information once, and then whenever you come across content or an application in boxee that requires payment, for you it's going to be one click to pay either a one-time fee or a subscription fee. As a content owner, that would mean that you can create a branded experience around your content, you can package your content any way you like, and you can price it any way you like. And you keep the lion's share of the revenue as well. So it's a very content owner-friendly environment. And kind of our assumption is that if you're making content and you have a fan base for the content that you make, on your core fan base, you could probably generate enough value that they'll be willing to pay for it.